They were warriors of faith, bound by oath and steel. They built empires without kings, guarded secrets no man was meant to know. And then, one night, they vanished. No bodies, no treasure, no answers. Only whispers of power too great to die. And the Knights Templar, protectors of pilgrims or keepers of the world's greatest secret? They protected pilgrims, built wealth, and vanished overnight. But did they really disappear? They were warriors of faith, knights sworn to protect the pilgrims on their way to the Holy Land. After the First Crusade, around the year 1119, a small group of 9 knights took a sacred vow. Led by Hugues de Payens, they called themselves the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon. But history would know them by a far simpler name, the Knights Templar. At first, they were humble. No gold, no castles, just faith and a sword. But soon their bravery caught the eye of kings and popes alike. The church gave it its blessing, and with that, power began to flow. They weren't just fighters anymore. They became bankers, builders, and guardians of secrets. The Templars invented early banking systems, allowing pilgrims to deposit gold in Europe and withdraw it safely in Jerusalem. It was the birth of modern finance, centuries ahead of its time. Their white mantles with the red cross became a symbol of purity and fear. They fought with unmatched discipline, whispering prayers before each charge. To their enemies, they were unstoppable. To the church, they were invaluable. To the common man, they were holy warriors chosen by God Himself. But behind their glowing reputation, something darker began to grow. Whispers spread of secret rituals, hidden relics, and treasures buried under the Temple Mount. Some said they guarded the Holy Grail itself. Others believed they had discovered relics of unimaginable power, power that could challenge kings, even the church. And when power grows too great, it becomes dangerous, for those who envy it will always try to destroy it. They were once the pride of Christendom, the Knights Templar, protectors of pilgrims, guardians of holy relics, and bankers to kings. But with power comes danger and jealousy. By the early 1300s, the Templars had grown unimaginably rich. Their network stretched across Europe, castles, farms, ships, even their own banking system. Kings borrowed from them, popes blessed them, and yet one man's greed would destroy it all. King Philip IV of France, deep in debt to the Templars, saw an opportunity to erase what he owed. In the shadows of his palace, he plotted their downfall. On a cold dawn, October 13, 1307, Friday the 13th, his soldiers stormed Templar commanderies across France. Knights were dragged from their beds, chained and accused of heresy, witchcraft, and worshipping false idols. Under torture, many confessed to crimes they never committed. Fire and iron broke their bodies, but not their faith. Jacques de Molay, the last Grand Master of the Templars, was imprisoned for years. On a gray March evening in 1314, he was led to the stake in Paris. As flames rose around him, he called out, "God knows who is wrong and who has sinned. He will soon judge those who have condemned us." Witnesses said he cursed the king and the pope, and within a year, both men were dead. But even as their order burned, whispers spread through Europe that the Templars' greatest treasure, their gold, relics, and secrets, had vanished before the raids began. Ships were seen leaving La Rochelle, the Templar port on the French coast, sailing into a storm and never seen again. Some say they reached Scotland. Others say they fled across the sea, to the New World, long before Columbus. But one thing is certain. The fire that destroyed the Templars did not destroy their legend. It only buried it deeper. And beneath those ruins, their secrets still wait.
When the flames consumed Jacques de Molay, the world thought the Templars were gone. But history has a strange way of hiding the truth. Before the arrests, coded letters were sent out from Paris, secret messages that warned Templar commanders across Europe. And by the time King Philip's men arrived, many strongholds were already empty. No gold, no relics, no knights, only silence. The treasure, said to include sacred relics from Jerusalem, vast sums of silver, and mysterious scrolls, had vanished. At the Templar port of La Rochelle, witnesses claimed they saw a fleet of ships sail into the mist, carrying chests heavy enough to make the decks groan. Some said they were bound for Scotland to seek refuge with Robert the Bruce, a king excommunicated by the Church. Others believed they crossed the Atlantic, guided by ancient maps known only to the Templars. And then came the rumors, whispers of strange symbols carved into stones in Nova Scotia on an island later called Oak Island, marks resembling Templar crosses, hidden tunnels and booby traps protecting something buried deep underground. Was it just coincidence? Or had the Templars truly made it to the New World centuries before anyone else? Modern archaeologists have searched the Oak Island money pit for over 200 years, spending fortunes and losing lives. What they found only deepened the mystery. Traces of medieval tools, coconut fibers not native to North America, and parchment fragments that seem centuries older than the island itself. Could this be the lost Templar treasure, buried beneath the cross of the New World? Or perhaps the treasure was never gold or silver at all. Some historians believe the Templars discovered something even more powerful in Jerusalem: knowledge, ancient texts, perhaps secrets from Solomon's temple itself, wisdom that could shake kingdoms and challenge the Church. If so, the treasure wasn't lost, it was protected, passed down through secret brotherhoods, encoded in symbols, hidden in architecture, and whispered across generations. Not all treasures glitter. Some illuminate. And even now, beneath cathedrals, in forgotten vaults, and among the patterns of ancient stone, the symbols of the Templars still speak, but only to those who know how to listen, who in the dark know who to draw. When the Knights Templar fell, the world believed their chapter had ended. But symbols never die. They evolve. Centuries later, in the quiet halls of European lodges, a new brotherhood began to emerge: the Freemasons. They wore no armor, carried no swords, yet their rituals, symbols, and architecture whispered echoes of something ancient. The compass and the square, the hidden handshakes, the secret oaths, even the layout of their lodges, all bore uncanny resemblance to the geometric codes of the Templars. Coincidence or rebirth? Freemasonry appeared publicly in the 18th century, but its roots seemed far older. The first Masonic documents, like the Regius manuscript, referenced the Temple of Solomon, the same holy site the Templars once guarded. And among Masonic lodges in Scotland and France, the Red Cross, the very emblem of the Templars, quietly reappeared. Whispers grew louder. Had the surviving Templars hidden within these new circles? Had they preserved their secret mission under a new name? Many historians believe they did. After fleeing persecution, Templars found refuge in Scotland, where their influence merged with local stonemason guilds, eventually evolving into Freemasonry. There they passed on not gold, but knowledge, sacred geometry, ancient wisdom, and secret codes meant to guard truth itself. Protect the temple. Build in silence. The Masons built cathedrals that defied the science of their age. Towering arches, sacred proportions, and coded carvings that told stories no priest dared to speak aloud. Some say those carvings are the Templars' gospel, hidden in plain sight. And then there are the secrets of America. Many founding fathers, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, were known Freemasons. The dollar bill's all-seeing eye, the unfinished pyramid, even Washington, D.C.'s layout all align with sacred Masonic geometry. So, did the Knights Templar truly die? Or did they simply trade swords for symbols, temples for blueprints, crusades for enlightenment? The line between myth and truth blurs here, but one thing is certain. The spirit of the Templars didn't vanish in the flames of 1314. It lives on, etched into the stones of our cities, whispered through secret halls, and reflected in the symbols that surround us every day. When power dies, it just hides behind new symbols.
Centuries have passed since the Knights Templar vanished from history. Their castles have crumbled, their banners burned, their names whispered only in secret. Yet somehow, their presence still lingers. Across Europe, strange alignments mark their trail. Cathedrals built on ancient ley lines, monuments pointing directly toward Jerusalem, and mysterious carvings of knights guarding doors that lead nowhere. Even today, in places like Tomar in Portugal and Roslin Chapel in Scotland, the stones seem to breathe, as if keeping secrets they were sworn never to tell.
In 2001, archaeologists in France uncovered a sealed vault beneath an old Templar commandery. Inside were parchments, crosses, and a chalice engraved with the Latin words, Non omnis moriar, I shall not wholly die. It was more than a motto. It was a prophecy. Because the Templars' greatest treasure was never gold. It was knowledge. Knowledge of architecture, astronomy, sacred geometry, and perhaps something more. Something they guarded with their lives. The belief that enlightenment could only be found through discipline, sacrifice, and brotherhood.
As modern conspiracy theorists dig deeper, they uncover startling coincidences. The same mathematical patterns used in the Templars' designs appear in modern world landmarks. Their cross, the red emblem of faith and war, still surfaces in countless crests, orders, and secret organizations. Could the world's most powerful societies today, the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians, the Illuminati, all trace their roots back to the same ancient brotherhood? No one truly knows, because history, as the victors wrote it, erased their truths. But the earth never forgets. Some say the Templars still exist, hidden among us, bound by oath, guarding relics not yet ready to be revealed. Others believe their legacy was spiritual, a torch passed from one generation to the next, lighting the path of those who dare to seek hidden wisdom. But one thing is certain: the Templars' story is not just a tale of knights and kings. It's a mirror, reflecting our timeless hunger for power, faith, and the unknown. And perhaps, when you walk by a cathedral and see a cross carved in stone, or a strange symbol etched into a cornerstone, you'll wonder, is it just decoration, or a message from those who never truly vanished? Because in the end, power never dies. It just hides behind new symbols.